Great. Thank you so much, Jackie. And another big thank you to the Illinois Arts Council Agency and the Arts Alliance Illinois for hosting this One State Conference. We are so excited to be here and to share some information with all of you, and also to hopefully learn a bit from you guys as well during our interactive workshop. So we're going to start with some introductions. My name is Elise Larson. I'm the Executive Director at Special Gifts Theater. I joined the organization in 2011. I was a teacher and a choreographer and a site supervisor before I became the Executive Director 3 years ago. As an Executive Director, I'm responsible for the organization's administration, fundraising, and oversight of programs. I have a BFA degree from University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign and a master's in dance movement therapy and counseling from Columbia College Chicago. Next up is Debbie.
Hi everyone, my name is Debbie Telsbarth and I am the Program Operations Director and Outreach Coordinator for Special Gifts Theater, and I've been with the organization since 2008. I've worn many hats. I've served as production manager, peer mentor coordinator, site supervisor, and teacher, and I also founded our adult program about 7 years ago called Creating Outside the Lines. As Program Operations Director, I have been working very closely with Elise and all our admin team, working at SGT Strategic Program Adaptations to the virtual format that we have all been forced into this year. And it's turned out to be very successful. I'd like to now turn it over to Hunter.
Thanks, Debbie. What's up, everybody? My name is Hunter Zornecki, and I am 20 years old. I have autism. I am an actor at Special Gifts Theater. I have performed in many roles, including Peter Pan in Pan Jr., Danny Warbucks in Annie Jr., Sebastian in Little Mermaid, among many others. I work 2 jobs as a dishwasher 3 days a week. I love to build Legos, watch movies, and go bowling with friends.
Thanks, Hunter. Okay, next we're gonna have Jenna introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I am an actress and dance assistant at Special Gifts Theater. I have Down syndrome. I play Tracy Turnbrand in Hairspray, and I also assist in choreography for our musical theater program and help tech and coach choreography to the younger students. I have worked at Little Beans Cafe and as a hostess at Hackney's.
Thanks, Jenna. So we don't have time to do introductions with everyone that's a part of this workshop, but I thought I would just ask you all to take a moment to think of a time you felt especially proud of yourself. So at Special Gifts Theater, one of our main goals is increasing confidence through social experiences in theater and dance. So think of a time you felt especially proud of yourself, maybe when you accomplished a goal, had a great performance, or got a compliment, or finished a big project at work. And if you feel comfortable, quickly just share that moment in the chat, and we'll read a couple of them to the group. Like I mentioned, increasing self-confidence and a sense of pride and accomplishments is a big goal at Special Gifts Theater, so we thought we'd kind of get everyone in that mindset with a quick introduction. Don't think about it too hard. Could be something that happened yesterday.
Right off the top of your head.
Worry.
When I got my first paycheck, understanding a subject I thought would be difficult. That is a big accomplishment. All right. Ooh, costume to show for the first time and saw it complete. Congratulations. That is a big one. All right, well, keep thinking about those and kind of bring those to the forefront of your mind as we reflect on ways we're using theater and dance to do that at Special Gifts Theater. I was just going to kind of review some of our workshop objectives. These were in the session description that you signed up for. Basically, we're going to talk about Special Gifts Theater, what we are as an organization, and how we've been adapting our program virtually especially how we're using it to promote socialization and self-confidence. And then we also will have some special performances to share as well as experiential activities. In terms of our agenda, pretty much we're going to go through exactly what I just said. I was going to suggest that if you have questions as they come up, please put them in the chat box. And Tanya is going to be monitoring that and letting Debbie and I know if there are questions as they arise. We also will have a time for questions at the end. So if you want to ask your question verbally, you can wait till then. And then my other suggestion is that if you are not talking, to keep your microphone muted so that we can limit background noise, which I think everyone is already doing a great job at. This is not your first virtual meeting, right? So thanks. Let's check back in the chat to see if there's a couple more feelings of accomplishment we can share.
Someone was really happy when they put together their first presentation and they saw it come to life.
Yes.
And then the other one was the challenges, overcoming the challenges of Zoom, which I feel that pain as well.
Yeah, and making it to 10,000 steps in the activity tracker, good for you. I have not done that lately. And someone else said birthing my children. That's a big accomplishment. All right, so now we are going to hear from Hunter and his experience at Special Gifts Theater. And then he's going to share
my graduation song.
Yeah. All right, Hunter, will you share with us the impact Special Gifts Theater has had on you?
Be glad to.
We look at different patterns.
Here we go. I have often dreamed of a far-off place where a hero's welcome would be waiting for me, where the crowds will cheer when they see my face, and a voice keeps saying, "This is where I'm meant to be. I'll be there someday. I can go the distance. I will find my way. If I can be strong, I know every mile will be worth my while. When I go the distance, I'll be right where I belong." Down in unknown, to embrace my fate. Though they wonder, it will lead me to you. And 1,000 years would be worth the wait. It might take a lifetime, but somehow I'll see through. And I won't look back. I can go the distance. I'll stay on track. No, I won't accept defeat. It's an uphill slope, but I won't lose hope till I go the distance and my journey complete. Oh yeah, but to look beyond the glory is the heart. For a hero's strength is measured by his heart. like a shooting star. I will go the distance and search the world. I will face it hard. I don't care how far. I can go the distance till I find my heroes. Welcome when your arms. I'll search the world. I will face its harms. Till I find my heroes. Welcome in your arms.
Bravo, Hunter. Thank you.
No
Nice
problem.
job. There are lots and lots of comments in the chat. Congratulating you on an excellent performance. Thank you. Hunter, was there anything else you wanted to say about your time at Special Gifts Theater?
Yeah, the bottom part. I love SGT because I get to spend time with my friends and sing and dance. SGT has given me a lot of confidence to perform outside of SGT, such as when I sing Go the Distance at my high school graduation. I have made many friends at SGT that I get together with on the weekends too.
Great. Thank you, Hunter, and thank you for that wonderful performance to start off our presentation. I know you have to go to work, so you can go ahead and sign off now.
Okay.
We'll look forward to seeing you at rehearsal tomorrow.
Yep, see you tomorrow.
All right. Okay, so now I'm going to go through a little bit more background of Special Gifts Theater now that you have also some context from that performance from Hunter. So let's see, the background of Special Gifts Theater. We're a not-for-profit organization. This year, we celebrated our 20th anniversary. We were actually founded by an occupational therapist who saw the benefits that her children without disabilities got from theater, and she wanted to bring that to the kids with disabilities that she worked with as an OT. So that's why she founded Special Gifts Theater, and because of her, all of our programs are educational and therapeutically based, and we use the theater stage and music, dance, acting as a platform to develop skills, including social skills, speech and language skills, and self-esteem and confidence. This is our mission statement here: to foster self-confidence, social, speech, and language skills in individuals with disabilities using educational and therapeutic techniques with the stage as a platform, integrating creativity and fun. Our philosophy at Special Gifts Theater, every emphasis that we do is placed on the students' abilities and not their disabilities. So we're looking to set the stage for them to really shine and to showcase their strengths. We want to build their self-esteem and confidence to take it from the stage out into everyday life. An example of how we did that is in The Wizard of Oz. One of our students had just learned to play the tuba, and so our wizard in The Wizard of Oz played the tuba. We wanted to showcase his strengths. So that's a little bit about our philosophy. In terms of combating social isolation, research shows the effectiveness of theater to do that. There's an article published by Andy Kempe in 2011 where he said that drama can be therapeutic in giving person a greater sense of competence in the activity being focused upon, which results in heightened self-worth. And then in addition, the social aspect of theater can help build skills that isolating activities might not be able to do. There's also an article that was published in 2015 in Today in OT, which was a project funded by the National Institute of Health and conducted by the Vanderbilt Kennedy Center, And that looked at the effectiveness of theater arts programming using peer mentors, which we do at Special Gifts Theater. The research investigator said that they measured many aspects of social ability and found a significant treatment effects on social cognition, social interaction, and social communication in youth with autism. So that's some of the research that our program is based on in terms of using theater to effectively facilitate social skills. As an organization, we have 12 programs in 7 different locations. All of our programs currently are meeting virtually. And since we were founded 20 years ago, we've served almost 3,000 participants, and our performances have been attended by audiences and community members of close to 35,000. In terms of who we serve, so as we mentioned, we're an inclusive theater experience for individuals with special needs and disabilities. And, you know, we don't just serve a specific diagnosis. So common diagnoses in our program are autism spectrum disorder, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, and epilepsy, among many others. And that fit into a variety of different special needs that we adapt our programming for. We also do give disability awareness training for our peer mentors in hopes that we can raise the next generation of more accepting leaders. And then we also offer community awareness for the audience members that come see our performances. Our staff is a really multidisciplinary staff. We have therapists, educators, and theater professionals, and we all bring different experiences to the table. So there's lots of creative problem solving that we do. And I keep saying over and over that the creative problem solving we're doing during the pandemic is really an extra layer of that to what we've already been doing. A little bit more about Special Gifts is that we were the proud recipient of the Illinois Theater Association's Award for Excellence in Creative Drama last year. So that was really exciting to be recognized on a typical stage amongst other theater groups in the state. We also, this June, were featured in an article from American Theater Magazine where they published about, can socially distanced theater still teach social skills? And we are here to say yes, it most certainly can. So that's a little bit of an introduction to our organization. I'm going to turn things over to Debbie, who's going to give an overview of our specific programs.
So, hi everybody. Again, my name is Debbie, and Special Gifts Theater has quite a few theater programs. We have one that's Creativity in Motion. We have a musical theater program. We have Creating Outside the Lines. We also have a traveling and performance troupe, and a big component that goes along with most of these programs is our peer mentor program. These are all of our programs, and I'm going to go into more detail about these over the next couple of slides. So our Creativity in Motion program are for students with disabilities ranging from 7 to 17 years old. And a big component of that is they work with typically developing peer buddies that help them along the way. This program engages students in full body storytelling using music and props and costume pieces to tell stories through movement. It's currently meeting virtually, and when we're in person, we meet in Winnetka, Glenview, and Barrington. This is a program that we like to start our younger kids out with because it introduces them into all of our other aspects of other theater. And there are, like I said, several locations when we meet in person, but right now this program will be virtual. Our musical theater program is basically our original flagship. And this was the program that started from the beginning. And all the other programs stemmed off of this. Hunter, who you heard earlier, participates in our musical theater program. And Jenna is a dance assistant for one of our musical theater programs. This program is for students with disabilities ranging from ages 10 to 22 years old. And there is the peer mentor component as part of one of the features of this program. We focus on developing social skills, speech and language skills. It's all about self-confidence while learning about and preparing for a final performance. All of our roles, our scripts, choreography, costumes are all adapted for every single student so they can shine on stage. So if it's somebody that only can say a couple of words, then that script is modified for them so they can shine on stage. If it's somebody who can say a couple of lines, then that's the same for them as well. So everything that we do is adapted to every single student in every single program that we do. This one is also meeting virtually, but when in person, we have a location in Chicago. We have 2 programs in Winnetka. We have one in Palatine and one in Libertyville. Right now, our musical productions that are scheduled for next year are Mary Poppins, Frozen, and Little Mermaid. Who doesn't love those musicals? They're fantastic. Our peer mentor program is a big component with our creativity and motion and our musical theater programs. All of our peer mentors go through disability awareness training so they can develop skills such as patience, empathy, compassion, leadership, responsibility. We're helping form these kids to take this out and send this message out in the community that everybody wants to do the same things. Regardless of how it may look, it may take a little longer. They all want to have friends. They all want to go to the movies. So it's all about developing those friendships. And I will honestly tell you, when you see these students and peer mentors together, it is such an amazing bonding experience and an emotional thing to watch because they're friends outside of SGT. It's not just within the program. These are friendships that last a lifetime. All of our peer mentors also receive one-on-one coaching and support from the peer mentor coordinator at their program. So creating Outside the Lines adult program, this is something that I founded, and I want to say it was about 7 years ago when our musical theater students started getting older, and there really wasn't a place for them to be part of a musical program. Community theater wasn't always accepting of our actors auditioning. So we thought, you know what? Let's do it. So we did. So this is for adults with disabilities, ages 22 and older. The difference with this program is there are no peer mentors. This program is all about creating independence for our adults. They don't need the peer mentors anymore. Most of our adults work or are involved in other organizations outside of this. So this is all about them being able to handle things on their own. This program provides opportunities to put creativity into action through storytelling, character transformation, and team-based performance. It's all about learning about the teamwork here. This currently is meeting virtually, but when in person, we meet in Winnetka, Glenview, and Barrington. And right now, we're working on Peter Pan Jr. Hunter and Jenna are both currently in the COL program. And they do an amazing job. So now I want to introduce Jenna. Elise, you want to take it from here?
Jenna, do you want to say a little bit about why you chose to do Speechless?
Yes. Hi, y'all. My name is Jenna, and I choose the song Speechless from Aladdin, the 2019 version that Jasmine sings. And I thought that, that women's have the powerful for doing their own voices. And this song I choose was a great example for anybody. Here comes the wave, could wash me away. The tide has taken me under, swallowing sand but nothing to say. My voice are down in thunder, but I may cry, I won't start to crumble. Whenever I try to shut me and cut me down, I won't be silent. You can't keep me quiet. When trouble when you're trying, 'cause I won't go speechless. 'Cause I breathe when they try to suffocate me. Don't you wonder what's to make me? 'Cause I won't go speechless. Breathing stone, every word of me words, some dreams on I'm bending. Stay in your place and see the night hurt. Now that story's ending, 'cause I was start to crumble. So when I try to shut me and cut me down, I won't be silent. You can't keep me quiet. I travel away and trying, 'cause I won't go speechless. Speechless, that's horrible. I cannot be broken. Never the words are spoken. 'Cause I won't go speechless. Try to lock me in this cage. I will just lie of you all die. Other take this broken wings to help me pull across the sky. Say that God, say that will be silent. But you can take me trouble when you're trying. 'Cause I won't go speechless. Speechless is all please. Please just suffocate me. Don't you wanna me? 'Cause I won't go speechless. I won't go speechless. Speechless.
Great job, Jenna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of comments in the chat too telling you awesome job. Jenna, was there anything you wanted to share about the impact of your involvement with theater at Special Gifts has had on your life?
Yes. Special Gifts has given me a chance to do what I really want to do in life, which is performing. And when I first got into Special Gifts, I started out as a dance assistant, then to full dance intern, and then when I heard them do the dub program, I felt that my voice was to be heard. So I was amazed with everything that Special Gifts has done for me, and that's where I got my Special Gifts from.
Great. Thank you so much, Jenna. Again, awesome performance, and I think it's helpful for everyone in the workshop to hear from your perspective. So thank you for that. And Jenna's going to stick around for our question and answer later if there's any questions you guys have for Jenna. Okay, so now we're going to move on to talking a little bit about how theater skills, general theater skills, are social and life skills, and how we adapt them at Special Gifts Theater in general, when we're in person, and then also virtually.
So Jenna, first I want to say, don't shortchange yourself. We didn't give you that voice. You had that voice. We helped you make it better, but you actually had that voice. And love, love, love that. So, you know, like Elise said, we use theater to teach social and life skills. We do it through theater activities and role playing to make it fun and exciting for all our participants. It's not like we're just sitting down in a classroom, whether we're in person or we're virtual, and we're just sitting there and they're taking notes and things like that. Everything that we do is fun and exciting and meant to engage our participants in every single aspect, not just during production and choreography. It's also learning the concepts. We spend the first several weeks focusing on understanding the story, how it relates to real life, or how it doesn't relate to real life, lessons learned in our story, and so much more. So our educational concepts that we're concentrating on for Mary Poppins are family, adventure, change, looking beyond those first impressions, and anything can happen if you let it. So that's a really huge component with everything that we do, because it's so important that we feel before our students get to the stage that they understand the storyline, they understand the characters, they understand why they're all talking to each other and how they interrelate with each other. Some other general theater skills that we work on are all about teamwork. Let's face facts. You can't do a production on stage without everybody working together. We work on public speaking, voice projection, voice clarity, so you could be heard on stage. Yes, you're wearing a microphone, but what if the microphone goes out? You got to have that backup, and it's all about the voice clarity and the voice projection. We also teach our students, we have activities that help them initiate and reciprocate conversation with their peers, not just with the peer mentors, but other participants in the program. That's a real important aspect of our program. It's all about the social skills. Awareness of themselves and respect for personal space, not only of themselves, but others around them. Eye contact, that's a huge component, not only in doing a final performance, but it's also a huge component in everyday life. When you're talking to somebody, whether it's at school and you're talking to your friends, or you're talking to your boss at work, you can't be looking at the ground. So we always are promoting that eye contact. So that's another life skill that's super important that we stress. It's also respecting others' thoughts and ideas. You know, we all have our own ideas, and we want everybody to hear our ideas, but we also want others to respect our idea as well as us respecting theirs. We also do a lot of stress on body language and facial expressions, not only on stage as your character, but this is another life skill. You know, you may be saying words, but your body language may be speaking something else, or your facial expression. So it's all about incorporating all of those pieces, not only on stage, but then it helps them in everyday life skills.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is, you know, using the safe environment of a theater with a supportive classroom, a supportive group, and to, you know, it might be more comfortable to explore some of those theater skills as a character, right? And then to transition that into your everyday life. So some theatrical adaptations we make at Special Gifts Theater compared to maybe a traditional theater program is we really look at behavior as communication, and that everyone is different and everyone is unique. So we stress, you know, getting to know the individual. Like Debbie mentioned earlier, we adapt everything from the roles in the play to the scripts and everyone's lines to costuming pieces. So to make sure we're utilizing their strengths. Another big thing we do is we take to heart the theory of person first language and really apply that as like a person first philosophy. So seeing the whole person first and their diagnosis of their disability as just one part of that. We also work together as a team to implement useful behavior strategies and plans, whether that extends beyond our team to involving parents, teachers from school, IEP teams, so that we can make students successful. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an overview of how we adapt things based on some different disabilities, both in person and virtually. So physical disabilities to start, we really look at the accessibility of the space, right? Can our students that use a wheelchair or a scooter, can they access the stage in every part of the stage? We actually had a school that we partnered with where their wheelchair lifts were not working. So we had to fundraise to get a grant to buy our own manual wheelchair lift to use at that school. We also adapt the choreography in terms of not everyone is going to be able to do the dance moves and the choreography exactly the same. And I think virtually that's been even more of a challenge with the mirroring that comes with Zoom. So we've been, giving broader directions, or someone might spin around in a circle using their power chair, while others spin around in a circle on their feet. We also look at adapting our costuming and set pieces. So for example, a student who might get tired and use all of their energy standing, we'll have a chair for them to use on stage so they can exert their energy playing their character. We had last year the boy that played the Sultan. He would get so exhausted just getting on stage that he would be too tired to say his lines. And so we built him a throne that was on wheels for him to wheel onto stage with, so he could really focus on being the Sultan and not just getting there. We also adapt our in-person and virtual programs for sensory issues. So we look at things like, is this activity too overstimulating, or is it maybe not stimulating enough? We offer in-person fidgets or sensory toys and a weighted blanket, or virtually we encourage parents to have those items on hand if that will help with regulation. Something else to consider is noise level. Actually, virtually, it's really helpful that if it's too loud and overwhelming for our students, they can control their volume on their own laptop or tablet. So that has been actually a really helpful thing. Some of our students in person will use headphones so that it's not too loud or overstimulating for them. Also, as it applies to costuming, there's a lot of adaptations that we make are for sensory issues. We cut the tags out of almost every single one of our costumes because that can be really bothersome. There was a student who, having a hat on her head was really distracting and wouldn't allow her to really play her character. So instead of wearing a hat, she had a wand. And that was a lot less distracting for her. So we adapt that to fit our students' needs in a sensory way. In terms of communication challenges, again, I think a lot of it is both in person and virtually use the same strategies. So offering choices in terms of not just asking an open-ended question, but offering a couple of different options can help limit the communication possibilities. Another thing is if someone is hard to understand, you can ask them to show, not just tell you what they're talking about, use their body to express that. We mentioned earlier about adapting the roles in our script. An example of that is we have a student who has cerebral palsy, and she is primarily nonverbal, but Wizard of Oz is her favorite show, and we really wanted to give her the lead role of Dorothy. So we did, and all of her lines were more, okay, let's go, and good idea, and things that she could communicate with a couple of syllables. And the rest of the cast, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, they all told the rest of the story for her. So we kind of flipped that to be able to let her share her gifts on the stage. Ways to improve communication, simple things. This is from an occupational therapist background, but just focusing on posture, breath support, and slowing down. That can make a really big difference. So we'll also provide those cues to our students. And then our students with cognitive disability, we look at, especially virtually, providing lots of visuals and multisensory experiences. So a visual cue plus an auditory cue, like we're doing right now actually, can help with processing things more easily. So we do a lot of visuals. We also break things down, like Debbie said, with the concepts of the story. We spend the first several weeks of our program just learning about the story and different concepts as they apply, before we even get to announcing what roles characters are going to, or what roles people are going to play, and the script is even further down the line from that. So we really take it step by step. We alternate between active and passive activities, both in person and virtually. We're going to get to those active activities today too, very soon. And then also just offering breaks and promoting creativity. All ideas are good ideas. In terms of behavioral challenges, we see this sometimes in terms of making sure that we have really clear expectations. That's something that can really be helpful with behavioral issues. We also find that using a visual schedule, again, that visual input plus the auditory input, and knowing what is coming next can really help with that. A social story is often used to help process and explain the reason for something. We have one about virtual SGT. So usually our students expect to go to the school we meet at and put on a full play there and see all their friends on the stage. And so this virtual social story kind of explains that we're still going to do SGT, but it's going to be different on the computer screen. We also do a lot of behavior charts and, what are you working for in terms of rewards? And then again, working with our multidisciplinary team and the students team to work on, how we can best support them and help them be successful. Some of our students do struggle with emotional regulation. So we also look at how can we help them promote success? How can we use character examples? In terms of what can their character work through, that can be an example for how they could cope with something. Always taking a break and offering coping or comfort items. Last year we had a student who was really nervous to come on stage, but when she had her Bible with her, she was much more comfortable. So why would we take that away from her, right? She was the cook in Mary Poppins, and we put a little cover on it that made it a cookbook. And it was part of the props for the show then. And of course, we're always looking at making sure everyone is safe. The last one I was going to touch on is about social difficulties. So this one is, our peer mentors are so important for modeling and also providing coaching and just being supportive friends for our students and to provide that social dynamic. And that's really been happening virtually too. We have some of our students and peer mentors that are meeting in person while SGT is virtual. We have a lot of them that text and FaceTime outside of class to again provide that support. We also structure activities to promote social skills. So like Debbie was mentioning, eye contact, to give someone else a turn, look at them, make eye contact with them and then say their name. Or virtually, maybe we're giving them an air 5 through the screen or something like that. So now we have a short mini performance. This is a snippet from our adult program class, and our SGT signature song is We're All in This Together, which it was before the pandemic, but it's even more fitting now. So I'm just going to play a little snippet of this so you can see us in action during one of our classes.
Here we go.
All right. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about more specifically some virtual adaptations we've made. Go ahead, Debbie.
So, we all are living in this new norm of being online, being on Zoom, and we want want to be true to what our message is, what we're trying to achieve with Special Gifts Theater. So our virtual adaptations are very parallel to what we do in person. We have a very familiar structure where it's the same rotations, where they're classroom, choreography, production, same staff, and it's all about the creativity. We've learned that the visuals online are super, super important. You really have to engage them and change them up. They can't be the same all the time. We do the same thing with passive and aggressive activities, movement breaks. We do reach out to our parents to see what we can do to support their child. We did have a parent meeting at every single program, so we inform them of what's happening and how things are going to look. It's not just about the participants, it's about their families, getting them involved in the program as much as possible as well. Every single week, we send the slides home that we worked on during class, during production, choreography, classroom, so they can reinforce it at home. We send it via email, the whole lesson plan. Like we talked about earlier, we have a virtual social story, so everybody understands that SGT is still going to be the same, but a little different than when we meet in person. And we also started at all of our programs the option to participate in a directory. Totally optional on the family's part. And then we share that directory with those that participated and then give them the option of forming pods outside of our organization, whatever their comfort level is during this pandemic. So that's all up to them if they want to do a couple of students at their home, an outside location, or if they want to do a student, a peer mentor. But we leave that all on the families because everybody's comfort level is totally different. And we don't want to throw out expectations from our end. We're also working on motivating our students on blocking online, having all sorts of different ways to get them involved in the scene work. We're limiting the number of characters in a scene so it's not so overwhelming. We're also going to be utilizing virtual backgrounds for our Mary Poppins, our Frozen, our Peter Pan, and Little Mermaid. So we have all of these plans in place so that we can do a very beautiful performance like we always have at the end of each session.
Yes.
It's all about and virtually, it is challenging for all of us, but we found that over Zoom, mirroring, doing movements with photos for our songs, our choreographers are doing slide by slide, align with the movement, and that's being sent home so they can practice at home. We record the choreographer doing the entire musical number, and that's sent home as well. And we also talk about social distancing in creating our choreography. So if they are working with somebody in a pod at their home, respecting their space and others that may be around them.
All right. So now we're going to do a couple of activities that have been really successful virtually with our groups. So I'm going to invite everyone, if you have space and you're comfortable, go ahead and stand up. And the first activity we are going to do is called the Magic Elevator. So you might be familiar with this one. We are going to step into an imaginary elevator, and each floor that we go to is going to be a different character that we're going to act out. We're going to use characters from Mary Poppins. So go ahead and close the elevator doors in front of you and open them up. Step onto your elevator, and let's go to the first floor. Push the button. We are going to Bert and the Chimney Sweeps floor. So when we get there, our elevator will open back up. And now we are Bert. We are sweeping the chimney sweeps. Right? Sweeping all around, some dusting. We're also flying a kite in the park. Whoosh! With the Banks children. We're also doing some dancing to Step in Time. All right, a little more chimney sweeping. Any other Bert activities? Something Bert would do? He's kind of goofy too, right? Maybe make a silly face. Okay, step back into the elevator and close the doors. Now we are going to the second floor. They will open. And here we are going to be Mrs. Finch, the bird lady, in the park. Yes, looking around, noticing the birds, letting them land on your shoulder. You know, maybe seeing the big trees, having a seat on the park bench. Excellent. And then we'll step back into the elevator and the doors will close. We're going to the third floor now. This one, when the elevator doors open, we will be Mary Poppins. The practically perfect Mary Poppins in every way, right? Maybe we'll open our umbrella, go for a ride, fly through the air. We might feed the children a spoonful of sugar to help their medicine go down. Yes. Right, and we'll play with the kids, lots of playing. Excellent, and then we'll close the elevator doors and we'll come back. Excellent. So that was just a little taste of the magic elevator. That can be done with different scenes from a musical. It can be done with different characters. It can be done with different emotions. Lots of different options for that. Debbie's gonna do our next one.
And we're gonna do it really quick. And I'm gonna kind of call on you guys if you want to volunteer in the chat. So we're gonna do what we call object improv. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this game, and it's where you take everyday objects and you have to use them for another intent than what they're usually used for. So I figured everybody probably has a pen or some kind of writing utensil around them, a water bottle, and a cell phone. If you have something else, of course, let's go for it. And what we're going to do is I'm going to start out and I'm going to use one of these objects other than its original intent. And then if you want to put it in the chat and you want to share, we'll call on you as well. So I'm going to use my water bottle, and my water bottle is going to be, it's going to be a musical instrument. It's not a water bottle in my mind, because we tell the students that nothing is ever wrong with your imagination. Whatever you want something else to be, it can be. Anybody else have anything around them they want to share? Another object that you may have around and you want to use it for its other intent?
Yeah, put your name in the chat and we'll spotlight your video so you can do a little performance. While you're thinking, I have my pen here, but I'm going to use it as a fork to eat. It's almost
Jenna, you got anything around you? You want to unmute yourself. There you go.
Adjust it, yeah. I'm gonna use this mouse as a hearing device.
Good job, Jenna.
So I didn't
Awesome.
realize it was on.
Anybody else?
Oh, it's on already.
Come on, guys, jump up. There's nothing wrong with your imagination.
All right, well, we'll let you kind of take that to go wild. We do that a lot with different props or household items around the house, and it can just be a way to explore creativity. And something we do sometimes is, again, offer options. Do you want to use it as this or that? That can simplify it a little bit too. Okay, so we are nearing the end of our session, just a couple of minutes left. I just wanted to take a moment to see what questions we have
So Elise, we did have one. What advice would you give to an organization interested in developing a program in terms of outreach for expertise, outreach to different disability communities, physical accommodations, inclusion, time, cost, environment, etc.?
Yeah,
That
that's
was a long question. Thank you.
I would say that we would be happy to work with you and mentor you. So feel free to reach out to us, and we could share, some of our contacts and best practices with you. We have provided some professional development for different organizations, and we actually are putting together a Person First project, which was a grant funded from the Mentor Network. And so our students all work together to write scripts and skits based on their personal experience and the importance of being seen as a person first. And we're going to be offering that as a community awareness
There
campaign.
actually was just another question. What challenges have we faced going virtually, especially with the adult program? And I'd like to take that one.
Go for it.
Because we have not experienced any issues with working with the adults over Zoom. They actually have been really great in adapting to that. We've done choreography. We're going to have role announcements next week, and I would love to share what we're going to do, but Jenna's on here and it's a secret. Role announcements is a big thing for us. Usually we decorate the stage and all the staff dresses up in a costume from that musical production where we're doing the role announcements. So it's always a super exciting, highly elevated time, and everybody looks forward to it. Well, in a virtual setting, we're going to be doing ours over Zoom next week for the adults. And we're going to be doing it along the line of a red carpet event, finding out the role announcements. So I'm not gonna say any more because I don't want to ruin the surprise for Jenna, but we're all gonna ask them to dress coming to the occasion. Somebody else is asking, do we have any in-person classes now? I'll leave that one up to you, Elise.
Yeah, we don't right now. All of our programs, we have said that we are constantly evaluating and working with the schools that we partner with to offer in-person classes when it's safe to do so. But right now, the schools that we work with are not open to outside activities. And so we're looking for some alternate locations and possibilities. But a lot of our student population is medically fragile and have compromised immune systems. So we want to look out for their safety as well as everyone else's. I also see that there's a question about where are you located in Chicago. So we're based in Northbrook, but we have programs all around the north and northwest suburbs. So we partner with the school on the northwest side of the city in Edison Park, Winnetka. We have lots of programs in Winnetka, Glenview, all the way up north to Libertyville, and then out west, northwest in Palatine and Barrington too.
And yes, we do have peer mentors part of our virtual program as well. We did not stop that component. They do go into breakout rooms and discuss things with their buddy. We keep them engaged during the classroom time by if their buddy seems a little hesitant and neither one of them are in a pod, it's still them talking to them, getting them to be engaged in the activity, giving them some suggestions and say, hey, I'll do this with you. So they do that as well, giving them high fives, thumbs up. They're also communicating via text, sending emails to each other. So we're still keeping those friendships together as best as we can over Zoom. And it's worked out awesome.
Yeah, so there's a few more questions. I do have our contact information on the last slide. It's 4:30, so we're wrapping up. I'd encourage you to learn more about our programs and come see a performance. We're not exactly sure the format for our performances for 2021 yet, but visit our website for more information there. And we are on Instagram, Facebook. You can email us, and mine and Debbie's contact information is right here too. So thank you all so much for being here for the session today. Thank you for the good work you're doing. And if there are any questions that were unanswered, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to chat with you further. Have a great
Thank you, everyone.
I guess we can stay on. I don't know if we're going to get kicked off, but if anyone is still on that has had asked questions that didn't get answered, feel free to take yourself off mute and we can keep chatting for a few more minutes.